All right, we're moving right along. We're going to go ahead and create your client roadmap. So, what is a client roadmap? All right, so a client roadmap is a systematic process that tracks specific milestones, adds additional check ins, and any other aspects of your client journey. So, basically, it's mapping out start to finish when the client enters your program, leaves your program, exactly what that process looks like. Specifically, is there additional check-ins? At what point do you do an additional check-in? Do you do an additional check-in on the 30-day? On the halfway? Is there a certain time that you want them to hit specific milestones? What happens when they hit those specific milestones? Do you send them a t-shirt, right? So that's what we're talking about here, right? So we're talking about what does the client journey look like? How can we create this into a system? And because we can create it into a system, it's repeatable, meaning every client will have the same experience. That's the power of creating a client roadmap. So once again, why do we need a client roadmap? We need a client roadmap because it helps systematize the client journey. When the client journey has a system to it, it makes it easier to deliver on the back end and create a repeatable, successful process. All right, here's how to create a client roadmap. All right, so as a rough, just rough example, feel free to add in as much or as little as you want into your specific client roadmap. But the way that I've sectioned this out is, once again, there's really three key elements to a client's journey with you. There's the onboarding section, which is like the first 30 days. There's the week-to-week experience, which is the duration of their program. And then there's the offboarding, re-sign, or ascension, which is the last 30 days of their program. Okay, so the first 30 days, maybe every client gets a handwritten card, or every client gets a starter pack, right? That would be, if we're looking at this as like a timeline, that would be the first start of their timeline, right? They get onboarded, everybody gets a welcome card. And honestly, you could create it in checklist fashion like this. If I was really arts and craftsy, I would create it on like an actual timeline. All right, so then in the first 30 days, they're going to get that welcome packet or starter pack or welcome card. Then they're going to complete the onboarding within a certain time frame, right? So maybe all clients have their onboarding completed in the first 72 hours, meaning they get the welcome packet, the new program email, the program, all within 72 hours, right? You can come up with however you want that number to look. All right, and then let's say on the 30th day, they get a check-in, right? So this is in addition to their already pre-scheduled weekly check-ins, right? But I'll give you an example of what that looks like. And this could be a 30-day check-in call if you charge more than $500 a month. If you don't, I would recommend it just being a check-in text. All right, here's what that check-in looks like. Let's go ahead and break all this down. All right, so why? So the 30-day follow-up is designated to increase retention, decrease backouts, and receive feedback to improve the program. This message is also designated to figure out if your new client has hit the company activation point. Once again, we already know what an activation point is. So basically, it's a check-in to see how their first 30 days went. All right, and here's what that could look like. So we reach out, we say, hey, Name, this is Name, the assistant of company. I hope this message finds you well. I just wanted to check in on you and see how you're enjoying XYZ program so far. So you can either have your assistant reach out, your assistant coach could do this, you could do this, right? So you can kind of decide who you want to do this, but this is the initial message, just seeing how the program is, right? They're going to respond. You're going to say, that's amazing. I'm so excited for you. Obviously, if they respond positively, what do you think has been the most helpful part of the program so far? And also, how many workouts have you done in the X days, right? So I just added this part here as like, let's say your activation point is workouts, right? Like a certain amount of workouts within the first 30 days. Basically what this question is doing is figuring out if they hit the activation point. So like I said, insert whatever your activation point is into this one here. All right, so they're going to answer. You're going to say, great, that's so awesome. I'm so happy you're enjoying, blank, whatever they said they're enjoying about the program. Is there anything else I can assist you with or any other questions that I have? They're going to respond. You'll answer any questions if need be. You'll say, sweet, well, I appreciate our chat today. If you don't mind me asking, do you have any friends or family who would be interested in Name a program? So only ask for a referral if they had a great experience, right? So if at any point in this scripting, they have not had a good experience, the conversation switches from the normal script, to figuring out why they're not having a good experience and trying to solve their problem. All right, then from here, once they say yes or no to referring you someone, you're going to say, awesome, I love hearing that. If you're interested in referring business to us, you could receive a pretty hefty cash prize or whatever your prize is. If you have a minute, all you have to do is, and then insert whatever your referral rules are, send this link to your friend or whatever it may be. And then you'll say thank you in advance. Once again, only ask for referrals if they've had a great experience. So 30-day check-in provides clients value because it's an additional check-in off of their pre-scheduled one, allows you to see if they hit their activation point or not. And then lastly, if they did have a great experience, you can ask for a referral. If they did not have a great experience, it's an opportunity for you to rectify in the first 30 days instead of letting it prolong. All right, that's the 30-day follow-up. Like I said, if you charge more than $500 a month, that could be a call. All right, then we have our week-to-week experience. So for the full duration of the program, this could be an example of what your week-to-week experience could look like. So you're going to execute the weekly check-in process. Obviously, we just went over what that looks like for both different offers. I would personally engage on their social media one time a month, right? So I would make this a part of your client roadmap where one time a month you reach out to you go onto your client list and you go to all their social medias and engage, right? Maybe you respond to a story, maybe you comment on their Instagram. And this goes a long way. It really builds the community aspect, which people hold such high value to. All right, I would also one time a month, shout them out in your client group for any wins that they've experienced. So I would make this, once again, this is all about making this a systematic process. Because if you just say like, oh yeah, I'm going to engage on their social medias, like that's not a system, right? But if you say one time a month, I will have a strategic process where I go to my client list and I reach out to, and I go to all their Instagrams and I engage. Or one time a month, I purposefully go into my client group and I shout people out and I have a cadence for this, right? Now it's becoming a system. And when it's a system, it's repeatable. All right, the next thing here is weekly review any underperforming clients or clients who miss check-ins and do additional reach outs to get them back on pace. So one time a week, you should have a process where you're going to your client list and you're seeing if anybody had a poor check-in or missed a check-in, and you do an additional reach out just to, check in and see how everything's going, see if there's anything you could do to help. Hey, I was reviewing our client list. I saw that XYZ happen. Just wanted to check back in and see how that's going. We do this. We have a list of all the people who attend and don't attend group calls, and we reach out to the people that don't attend group calls and just see, hey, when can we get you back on a call? It goes a long way. And it's systematic. You're doing this weekly. All right. And maybe one time a month, you send a random appreciation message or a workout song message or a motivational video, right? So this is what I'm talking about. This is the week-to-week experience, but this is a system, right? You have a system for shouting them out. You have a system for engaging on their social media. You have a system for the random appreciation messages where we all want to do these things, right? We all want to be good coaches, but the reason we don't do it consistently is because we don't have a process for it. We don't have a regular process for it. And it won't come across as disingenuous because they don't know you have a process for it, but you know you have a process for it. And the reason, and it's still not disingenuous, because the reason you're even creating a process for it is because you know it's the right thing to do and you don't want to miss a beat. Okay. So that's the week-to-week experience. You will repeat this on a monthly cadence, weekly cadence, whatever. All right. Then we have our halfway check-in, right? So if we're looking at this at a timeline, we have our first 30 days, we have our week-to-week experience, right? On a timeline, we have a halfway point as well. So just like we had a 30-day check-in, we're going to have a halfway check-in. This could be a call if you charge more than $500 a month. It could be a text if you charge less than $500 a month. All right, here's what this process looks like. All right, so your VA, your assistant coach, whoever you want to facilitate can facilitate this. So you're going to say, hey, Name, this is Name, the assistant in the Next Level Coaching Academy. Congrats, you've made it halfway through your program. I hope this message finds you well. I just wanted to check in and see how the program has been since our first check-in. They respond. You're going to say, that's amazing. How would you rank your experience so far on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being terrible, 5 being great? You're going to get their ranking. If it's less than your KPI, dig a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about KPIs here in a minute. 4 out of 5 would be an example of a KPI. If they give you a 3 or a 2 or a 1, dig a little bit deeper. Why did you get that grade? And then get into solution-oriented think and how you can improve it. And then you say, great, that's awesome. I'm happy you're enjoying blank, referencing their rating. Thank you for the feedback today. You will also have a special gift coming your way soon. What size t-shirt do you wear? That's only if you're going to send a t-shirt as the special gift. It could be whatever. You could leave it as you're going to get a special gift. And if you don't need a sizing on anything, you could leave that out. All right, if they're ghosting, obviously you could follow up, and there's some follow-up processes there. But the gist of the halfway check-in here is to get their ranking. Once again, just checking and seeing how they're enjoying their experience, seeing if there's anything you could do to be better. Okay. Also halfway, I like sending them a little surprise gift. All right. We personally send out t-shirts, but this could be anything, right? I'll leave that up to your imagination. All right. So you have your week to week, which happens on the duration of the whole entire program. You have your first 30 days, you have halfway. Now we're talking about the last 30 days. All right, so the last 30 days is all about initiating your client retention process. So we're going to go over this more specifically in the retention module. However, after the retention module, you know exactly what this will look like, and this is 4 weeks out from expiration. All right, so what you need to do is you need to create your own client roadmap. All right, create the systematic process. What does it look like in the first 30 days? What does it look like week to week? What does it look like at the halfway point? What does it look like by the end of the program? All right. Note, feel free to add in any additional milestones, checkpoints, done for you aspects, or additional value adds. Make sure to keep in mind the cost of your program relevant to what you add in your client roadmap. If you are less than $500 a month, think more free activity stuff like Reachouts, right? It doesn't cost you anything to reach out. It doesn't cost anything to shout people out. It doesn't cost anything to engage on somebody's social media, right? So if you're less than 500, think of those kind of activities. If you charge more than $500 a month, think more of the aforementioned, or think more of, still doing all the things we just talked about, but adding in some additional things that you pay for, like pay for surprises. And, obviously you're not going to spend tons of money because, even if you charge $500 a month, you still have margins that you have to hit, but more so, just like little trinkets, like sending them a t-shirt or something along those lines. All right, so that's how to create your client roadmap. In the next video, we're going to talk about determining your roster cap.